Galactic Council chamber was the largest room ever built in known space. Its ceiling was so high that clouds floated near the top. Lights from 1,000 stars shone through transparent walls. Hundreds of alien species sat in wide circles, their seats floating slightly above the floor. This was the place where wars ended, or so everyone believed. At the center table sat the humans. They were fewer than most races. Only 5 representatives. No armor, no guards standing behind them. Just simple dark clothing and calm faces. Ambassador Elias Morgan sat quietly, his hands folded on the table. He listened while the council spoke. The council always spoke first, one by one. Alien leaders made their demands. Humans must reduce their fleet. Humans must open their borders. Humans must share weapons technology. Humans must accept monitoring stations above Earth. Each demand came with smiles. These are fair terms, said a tall blue-skinned delegate for peace, added another with glowing eyes. You should be grateful. A third one laughed. Some even joked. A death world species asking for equal terms. One whispered loudly, adorable. Another replied. The chamber echoed with soft laughter. The humans said nothing. They had spoken earlier. They had warned the council. They had explained limits, red lines, and respect. But now, they simply listened. Ambassador Morgan glanced at his team. A small nod passed between them. The council noticed the silence. Do humans accept these terms? Asked the High Speaker, a massive creature made of stone and light. The room grew quiet. Ambassador Morgan slowly stood up. Every eye followed him. We came here for peace, he said calmly. His voice was steady, not angry, but peace must be equal. Some delegates rolled their eyes. You are in no position to refuse, the High Speaker replied. The galaxy is united. Humans are not. Morgan took a slow breath. Then this meeting is over, he said. At first, no one understood. He stepped back from the table. The other human delegates stood as well. There were no threats, no raised voices, no dramatic speeches. They simply turned around and walked away. The chamber exploded with noise. Sit down.
This is a mistake.
You will regret this. The High Speaker laughed loudly. Let them go. They will return. But something strange happened. The doors closed behind the humans, and the room fell silent. Minutes passed. No message came from the human side. No apology. No request to continue talks. Outside the chamber, human ships undocked from the station. One by one, they jumped into hyperspace. Observers watched in confusion. Are they leaving? Someone asked. Yes, replied a sensor officer. All human vessels. Even civilian ones. The laughter faded deep below the council chamber. Ancient systems activated for the first time in centuries. Red symbols flashed on forgotten screens. A small, old delegate whispered, "That is not normal." Another checked long band archives. What are humans doing? A young council member asked. The old one swallowed. Preparing. Across the galaxy, human colonies went dark. Communication channels closed. Trade routes shut down. Human space became quiet. Too quiet. Back in the chamber, the High Speaker frowned. Open communication. Call them back. An officer shook his head. No response. For the first time in 1,000 years, the Galactic Council felt something unfamiliar. Uncertainty. The humans had not shouted. They had not threatened war. They had not begged. They had simply walked away. And somewhere in the endless dark of space, humanity had made a decision. The Council just didn't know it yet, but they soon would. The Galactic Council did not panic right away. At first, many delegates were amused. They will come back, said the High Speaker, leaning back in his massive seat. Every small power does. Some aliens nodded. Humans were new to the galactic stage, loud, emotional, and born on a dangerous world. Surely they needed peace more than anyone else. Let them feel important for a while, said a reptilian warlord. They will return once they understand their position. The meeting continued as if nothing serious had happened. But outside the chamber, things were already changing. Human trade ships stopped arriving. Ports that depended on human fuel and metals began reporting delays. Prices rose. Workers complained. Small systems felt it first. Still, the council brushed it off. They are trying to scare us, one delegate said. A weak trick. Hours passed, then days. Human embassies across the galaxy closed without warning. Flags were lowered. Staff disappeared overnight. Automated messages replaced human voices. Due to security reasons, all human diplomatic operations are suspended. No further explanation. Some council members began to feel uneasy. An insect-like delegate clicked nervously. This level of coordination is unusual. A younger member laughed. You worry too much. Humans are chaotic. They will break first. But the galaxy told a different story. Human colonies stopped broadcasting daily signals. News feeds went silent. Even entertainment channels vanished. It was as if humanity had pulled a curtain over itself. Military sensors detected movement. Human fleets were not gathering near borders. They were spreading out. That makes no sense, said a tactical officer. If they plan to fight, they should concentrate forces. An older analyst replied quietly, unless they are not planning to fight yet. The council requested a private session. Inside a smaller chamber, the mood was different. What if we pushed them too far? Asked a soft-spoken avian delegate. Nonsense, snapped the warlord. They have no allies. The old delegate from earlier slowly raised a shaking hand. Young ones, he said, have you ever studied human history? Several turned toward him. Briefly, someone replied. Constant wars, violence, instability. The old one shook his head. That is what they want you to see. He opened an ancient archive sealed long ago. Humans survive because they adapt. When divided, they argue. When united, they become something else. The room grew quiet. What unites them? The high speaker asked. The old one looked up, being treated as lesser. Outside the chamber, another report arrived. Human research stations were shutting down near shared space and reopening deeper inside their own territory. Massive construction projects had begun. What are they building? Someone asked. No idea, replied the officer, but it's big. The council sent another message to humanity. No reply. A third message followed. Silence. For the first time, confidence cracked. What if they don't want peace anymore? The avian delegate whispered. The high speaker hesitated. That pause alone caused fear. Across the galaxy, smaller races began to ask questions. Are humans leaving the council? Are they preparing for war? Should we distance ourselves? Whispers spread faster than ships. Back on Earth, deep underground, human leaders watched the same silence. No speeches, no cheers, just quiet preparation. Ambassador Morgan stood before a simple screen showing stars and moving fleets. They think we are bluffing, someone said. Morgan nodded. That's fine. Should we warn them? Another asked. He shook his head. We already did. In the vast Galactic Council chamber, the high speaker stared at the empty human seats. For the first time, he felt something cold and heavy settle inside him. The humans had not left in anger. They had left with purpose. And the council was only beginning to understand how dangerous that was. The archive room had not been opened in centuries. Dust floated in the air as ancient lights turned on one by one. The old delegate stood alone at the center, his thin hands shaking as he accessed files marked with warning symbols. Level black. The system announced. Historical threat records. The council members gathered behind him, uneasy. These files were hidden, the old delegate said softly, because the truth scared us. Images appeared in the air, not of human wars with aliens, but of humans surviving frozen worlds, surviving burning deserts, surviving plagues, famine, and endless internal conflict. They evolved on a world that tried to kill them every day. The old one continued. Storms, predators, diseases, even their own kind. A younger delegate crossed his arms. That proves nothing. Many species suffer. Yes, the old one replied. But humans adapted faster than any of us. The images changed. Human cities rebuilt after destruction. Human technology advancing during war. Human populations growing stronger after disasters. They do not seek war, the old one said. They prepare for it. Another file opened. It showed a pattern. Whenever humans were threatened together, they stopped fighting each other. They unite only when pushed, he said. And when they do, they become focused, calm. Quiet. Silence filled the room. Why was this hidden? The high speaker asked. Because. The old delegate answered. The last council that ignored this knowledge no longer exists. Outside the archive, alarms began to sound. Not invasion alarms, observation alarms. Human fleets were moving, but not toward council space. They are forming rings, an officer reported. Defensive rings. Deep, layered. Why defend when you plan to attack? Asked a delegate. The officer hesitated. Because they don't plan to attack first. That answer scared them more than war. Across the galaxy, human-controlled space became impossible to scan clearly. Signals were masked. Routes shifted. Old maps became useless. They're closing doors, whispered the avian delegate, not opening them. Back on Earth, the mood was calm. Factories worked day and night, not with panic but order. Workers knew their roles. Supplies moved smoothly. No speeches were broadcast, no threats were made. Human leaders met in small rooms, not grand halls. We don't chase respect, Ambassador Morgan said quietly. We remove ourselves from those who refuse to give it. A general nodded. And if they come? Morgan looked at the screen. Then they will meet preparation, not anger. Back in the council chamber, fear finally showed its face. Smaller species began withdrawing support. Trade partners asked for protection agreements with humans. They're choosing sides. Someone said no, corrected the old delegate. They're choosing stability. Another report arrived. Human military doctrine files, once shared during early cooperation, were being deleted from galactic databases. They're erasing their footprints, an analyst said. The high speaker slammed a heavy hand on the table. Summon the humans, now. The officer swallowed. We have tried every channel. Nothing. The old delegate spoke again, his voice barely above a whisper. When humans walk away, it means talking has failed. What comes next? Someone asked. He answered without hesitation. Demonstration. At the edge of known space, a human fleet powered up an ancient device. Not a weapon, a signal. It echoed across star systems, simple and clear. Human territory is closed. Human decisions are final. Peace was offered. The message ended. No threats, no countdown. Just a fact. In the council chamber, the high speaker stared at the fading signal. For the first time, he understood the mistake. Humans had never needed permission. They had only needed a reason. And the council had given them one. The galaxy did not explode into war. That was the most frightening part. No planets burned, no fleets clashed, no weapons fired. Instead, everything slowed down. Trade lanes emptied. Cargo ships waited for orders that never came. Insurance networks collapsed overnight. Markets froze as human-controlled resources vanished from circulation. Entire systems felt the silence. In the Galactic Council chamber, arguments turned into shouting. This is economic warfare, one delegate cried. No, it's isolation. Another shouted back. They are punishing us without firing a shot. The high speaker remained quiet, watching data streams scroll past his vision. Every report was worse than the last. Human-built infrastructure powered nearly 30% of galactic logistics. Their navigation systems, repair hubs, and emergency networks were everywhere. And now, offline. They planned this, said the avian delegate softly. For years, emergency meetings were called across the galaxy. Smaller nations gathered in fear, not knowing what to do. Many made a choice. They sent quiet messages to human space. Not demands, not threats, requests. Requests for trade, requests for protection, requests for neutrality. Human replies were short and calm. Terms will be discussed later. Respect existing borders. Do not involve us in council decisions. Nothing more. Back in council space, military commanders argued. We must show strength, said the reptilian warlord. Move fleets near their borders. The tactical officers exchanged looks. That would be unwise, one said carefully. Why? The warlord snapped. Because every time we move a ship, the officer replied. 3 human ships repositioned somewhere else. Always calmly. Always ahead of us. Maps showed the truth. Human fleets were not chasing anyone. They were controlling space, choke points, supply routes, communication hubs, always defensive, always legal, always just inside their own territory. They're hurting us, whispered a junior analyst. Fear spread faster than light. Pirate groups vanished from regions near human space. Smugglers stopped operating. Even ancient war clans avoided those areas. Not because humans attacked them, because humans watched. On Earth, the public lived normally. Children went to school. Trains ran on time. Cafes were full. Life continued. But underneath, everything was ready. Every citizen knew where to go. Every system had backups. Every failure had a plan. Human strength did not come from anger. It came from preparation. In the council chamber, a final emergency vote was called. We must apologize, said the avian delegate. We must restore talks. Another added. We must admit fault, whispered a third. The high speaker stood slowly. For the first time, he said, the council will request peace, not demand it. A formal message was sent. It was long, respectful, careful. Minutes passed, then hours. A response finally arrived. The human emblem appeared. Ambassador Morgan stood alone on the screen. You had peace, he said calmly. You treated it as leverage. The chamber was silent. We are not attacking you, Morgan continued. We are no longer depending on you. The high speaker bowed slightly. What do humans want? Morgan paused. Distance, he said, and time. The screen went dark. Across the galaxy, everyone understood the message. Humans were not seeking control. They were removing themselves from chaos. And that choice was changing everything. Without human cooperation, the council's power weakened daily. Laws were ignored. Votes meant nothing. Influence faded. The galaxy was learning a hard truth. You do not need to rule to be powerful. Sometimes walking away is enough. And the Galactic Council, once feared by all, now waited nervously. Because humanity still had not made its final move. And whatever it was, it would be on their terms. The galaxy did not end. It changed. Months passed after humanity walked away, and the Galactic Council slowly realized something painful. They still had their chamber. They still held meetings. They still voted. But fewer and fewer listened. Trade routes shifted toward human-controlled space. Independent systems copied human laws instead of council rules. New alliances formed without council approval. Power was moving quietly. Inside the once great chamber, many seats were now empty. The high speaker stood alone more often than not, staring at reports that told the same story in different ways. Human systems were stable. Human borders were respected. Human allies were growing. They did not conquer. The avian delegate said softly, "They replaced us." The old delegate nodded. "No, they outgrew us." Desperate, the council tried one last move. They announced a grand summit, all races invited. Peace, cooperation, unity. They sent a formal request to humanity. Not a demand, a request. Days later, a response arrived. Humans would attend. Relief filled the chamber. But the message included one condition. The meeting would not take place in the council chamber. It would take place in human space. Some protested. Others feared a trap, but they had no choice. The summit was held on a massive orbital station above Earth. Simple design, clean lines. No statues. No symbols of dominance. Just a long table. The council delegates arrived first. Nervous, careful. Then the humans entered. Ambassador Morgan led them. Calm as ever. No guards in sight, but security was everywhere, quiet and unseen. Morgan gestured to the table. "We are not here to replace the council," he said. "We are here to offer an option." The high speaker swallowed. "An option for what?" "For cooperation without control," Morgan replied. "No forced rules, no unfair terms." A murmur spread. "You walked away from peace," accused one delegate. "You broke the balance." Morgan looked at him. "We refused imbalance." He tapped the table gently. "This is not your table," he continued. "And it is not ours alone." Holograms appeared, showing open frameworks, shared trade systems, mutual defense agreements, fair dispute resolution, voluntary participation, no punishments for leaving, no demands for staying. "You can join," Morgan said. "Or not. Either way, we move forward." The silence that followed felt different from before. Not fear, understanding. One by one, delegates spoke. "This system is fair. This respects sovereignty. This feels human." The high speaker stood slowly. "For centuries," he said, "we believed peace meant control." He bowed his head slightly. "We were wrong." The old delegate smiled faintly. "Humans learned this lesson long ago." The summit ended without celebration. No cheers, no victory speeches. Just signatures and quiet decisions. Back in the galaxy, news spread fast. The Galactic Council still existed, but it was no longer the center. Humanity had not destroyed it. They had made it optional. On Earth, life continued as normal. People worked, laughed, argued, dreamed. Most never knew how close the galaxy had come to collapse. They only knew one thing. Humanity would never beg for respect. They would build systems where respect was required. Far above Earth, the old council chamber lights dimmed. Not turned off, just unused. And across the stars, a new truth became clear to every racid. When humans walk away, they are not retreating. They are choosing a better future, on their own terms.